Hi, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. I work with a lot of female coaches, consultants, and essentially women who sell their expertise in the form of an online course, and I help them grow their impact and income. But in today's video, we're going to be discussing essentially the 5 habits that I believe have led to my own success. So last year, I collected over $500,000 in my business. And 2 of those months, I wasn't actually even working. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you my success habits, what I think has contributed to my success being in entrepreneurship, and how you can apply this to your own business. If you're a coach or a course creator and you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so now. I put out new videos just like this one every single Friday. And if you have a specific question that you'd like me to talk about, I am open to any and every idea. So all you have to do is drop it in the comments and maybe you'll see the question that you have on my next video. So let's get into today's video and kind of my own entrepreneurship journey, condensed very briefly, and then what I would recommend, like what are the 5 best habits that you can have when it comes to running a successful business. So essentially when I first started, I started my business when I was 21. Actually, it took me a while to get my first client. Once I did, I grew really rapidly. So I went from 0 to 10K months in about 3 months. It was later on that I was making 6 figures my first year. My second year, I made multiple 6 figures. My third year, I made well over $500,000. And then this year, okay, we're just starting it off. So I'll let you know how it goes. But essentially, these are my success habits. This is what has led to my success. And I'm also going to give you action steps for how you can apply it to your own life. A big thing that I contribute to my own success is the fact that I started before I was ready. And I actually got this from a book called The Confidence Code. So back when I was attending university, I was actually a part of this Women in Leadership and Philanthropy organization. I was one of their scholars, and they had regular events where they would bring in speakers. So one of those speakers was Claire Simpson. She's written a book called The Confidence Code. And specifically, she was talking about how a lot of women feel like they have to be over-prepared in order to even start, in order to apply for a job. And she talks about how this is actually the wrong way and it's holding you back in your own life. And that you'd be a lot further ahead in your life if you just started before you were ready. So I've used this principle from the very start of my business up until today. When I very first started my business, I did not feel ready. So when I actually started as a freelancer, I was a freelance copywriter and content writer. I applied to work as a freelancer under this company, and they were looking for an SEO copywriter. When I looked at what they were looking for in a candidate, I didn't feel like I met the qualifications at all. But I was like, well, Natalie, I can learn on the job, which is what Claire Simpson talks about in her book. And so I was like, okay, I can learn on the job. I'm going to go ahead and apply for this. I feel like I'd be really good at this. And it kickstarted my career. So if I hadn't have done that, and if I hadn't started before I was ready, yes, I had some of the qualifications. No, I didn't feel like I had them all. A lot of this comes from imposter syndrome, and a lot of women hold themselves back because they feel like they have to be way overqualified. Even today, whenever I'm doing anything in my business, when I'm like, okay, I want to reach this next level. If I act like I don't feel like I'm ready for whatever that level is, how the hell am I ever going to get there? It means that I have to go full in, even if I don't feel like I'm ready, and just show up and learn on site. And I think it's a really important principle if you want to be successful in your business. Second principle that I really think has led to a lot of my success, and it's something I also teach my Grow Your Impact students, is to do the thing even if you don't feel like it. So here's what I mean by this. I want to clarify a couple things. I am not a proponent of what I call bad pain, but I am a proponent of what I call good pain. Now, hear me out. A lot of us hold ourselves back subconsciously because we feel scared of doing something. It has nothing to do with the fact Okay, and I can fully say this, it has nothing to do with the fact that we aren't able to actually do the thing, or by doing the thing that we would be harming ourselves. So if you are harming yourself in some form or fashion by doing whatever you feel like you need to do, then you need to backpedal a little bit. That is not healthy. I never want people to sacrifice their health for the sake of their business. But let me tell you, when I first started my business, I would make a lot of what I call protective statements, okay? And maybe you'll recognize yourself in this. I know I've said all of these at one point in time in my business. So I used to tell myself all the time, oh, I'm not really a social media person, because I was actually subconsciously very scared of putting myself out there. I was very nervous about, hey, what would it mean to be fully seen? That felt very scary to me. I used to make statements like, oh, I don't need to make that much money. I just need to make enough to be able to pay my bills. Subconsciously, I was very scared of doing stuff and then failing. So in order to avoid that failure feeling, what I did is I would just be like, oh, I don't need to make that much. Or even sometimes as I've continued to grow, I've been like, I remember before I hit the point, I now have a team, right, that helps me manage things. But before I started building a team, I started thinking to myself, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much more complicated tax-wise. Oh my gosh, like then I'm going to be responsible for people. These are protective statements, and they're keeping you from doing what you really need to do, right? So if there's an area in your life where you're not showing up 100%, and what do I mean by 100%? I mean 100% of what you do have today in this moment. So what does that look like? It means that if your success was inevitable, and that you truly believed that you would be successful in what you truly desire deep down to be doing with your life, you probably would have done the thing that you're procrastinating on because you believed that it would help you get closer to the goal. So I really want you to think about, how would you show up differently in your business, in your life, if you actually believed your success was inevitable? And that means probably doing the things that you might be currently avoiding anyway. If you want to join a group of focused and driven women who are pursuing entrepreneurship and be able to collaborate, learn, and just kind of enjoy being in a field and being in a community of supportive women, I actually have a free Facebook group. Okay. And I do exclusive trainings within this Facebook group. I talk about how I manifested my business, how I made 6 figures my first year. I talk about like how to build a team. I talk about all the different things that are super crucial for your success. And it's 100% exclusive content that's free, right, inside this Facebook group. If that's something you're interested in, all you have to do is go to the description and click that link to join. The third huge thing that I feel like really helped me with my success in my business is learning how to manage my hormones. So what I mean by that, a lot of people and a lot of women, what I see leads to a burnout cycle, especially when they're in business, is that they essentially treat their body like they're a man. So you have very different hormones than men, right? You probably already know that, right? But what that leads to is you do not have the same type of energy levels as men do. Men reset their energy levels every single day. Women do not have consistent energy that resets every single day. I would really highly recommend tracking and learning more about your cycle and the phases of your cycle and what that contributes to and what it looks like for you energy-wise throughout the month. For instance, there's certain parts of your cycle where you're going to be very low energy-wise. So if you have to do anything high energy, you have to show up and sell a lot, it's gonna be terrible, right? And then there's other parts of your cycle where you feel very energetic, you feel very on, and you've probably experienced this. You just never realize that it's because of your cycle, right? So what happens to a lot of women, and I see this happen so often, is they judge themselves. Like I used to have this happen too. I'd try to show up with the same energy every single day, do all the things and like make all the things happen, and then I would come to a point every single month that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so burnt out. I am so tired. I don't feel good. And it wasn't my fault. It's because I was treating my body like I was a man and treating my energy levels like I was a man. Whereas now, I have very distinct different times within my business where I'll go more in because I have all the energy to be able to do that. And then there's other times in my business where I'm actually taking more of a step back. So I'd really recommend learning more about your cycle. If this topic is interesting to you, okay, because I find it fascinating, but if this topic is interesting to you, comment below cycle. I'll give you a word, okay? And if we get enough people that comment below, then maybe I'll make a separate video on that. Fourth thing that you should really do, and it's going to help you become more successful in your business, is to get help. And that means team building and otherwise. Okay, I would not be able to do everything that I do currently if I didn't have a team, right? And if I also hadn't have gotten help in other areas of my life. Let me explain. So what you want to focus on first is how can I get my revenue up, and what are those revenue generating activities for me in my business? Once you start making more in your business, get help. Get help, right? What does that mean? What could that look like for you? The first thing that I ever got was I got someone to help me clean my house. So now I wasn't spending all that time cleaning my house. And if you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds like, something that's kind of superfluous. It's not. It's going to free up so much more time for you to do things that are going to help you increase your income. Next thing that I did is I actually got someone to meal prep for me, right? Currently what I'm doing is like a mixture of having, food that I order that's already in my fridge, as well as I occasionally do cook too. But getting help in that area can be super helpful too. Right? I also notice a lot of women, what they do is they take on all this extra projects and they don't get any help in their lives. So that could mean like if you have kids, you probably have different family members, people in your community that want to actually help you, but you aren't ever asking for help. I really recommend ask for help. And then finally, the other area is you want to build a team, right? Then after you get to the next revenue level, I really recommend after you get to 20K months, start hiring some team members for you to free up additional time to focus on other things that are going to help you to grow your business even further. And then, I know I said finally, but I do have one last thing. Something I also love to do as an exercise is at the beginning of each month, I journal kind of what my goals are. And then I also journal out like what I am asking for help with. So what I mean by that is I actually, for me, I believe in God. So I'll journal out and I'll be like, hey, God, I need help with these things. Like I want to put these things on your to-do list. If you could help me, that would be fantastic, right? Now that could be God, that could be the universe, whatever that is for you, but where you're going to feel additional support in your life. The fifth habit that I really believe has led to a lot of my success is meditation and exploring my own belief systems and psyches to get to the subconscious root of why I believe things. So I've had a lot of different things that I later realized were belief impediments. So what I mean by that is I mentioned some of those things earlier, back when I was talking about earlier, where I believe, I'm not much of a social media person. All of these things really hinder you from being successful as you could be, right? And I've actually, in order to uncover a lot of this different stuff, I've done subconscious work through meditation, and it's been life-changing for me, right? I would really recommend at first just starting up a meditation practice, getting used to honing your mind, getting used to focusing, and then explore different guided meditations, right, that can help you kind of uncover what those subconscious roots are for you, okay? So that's my top 5 habits that I really think are going to help you in your business. And if you are a female coach, or you're a course creator, or you're a consultant, or you're a guide, or you're a mentor in some shape or form, and you're interested in getting your business to 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K months, right? And you want to make that consistently. We actually offer free growth plan calls. This is where we'll actually speak with you. We'll map out what's going on in your business currently, where you want to be, and then what's your biggest challenge at the moment and how to overcome that hurdle, okay? And how we might actually be able to help you with those things. So if that's something that you're interested in, right? All you have to do is click the link in the bio, schedule one of those, and we would love to speak with you. All right, everybody, I hope this video was helpful for you. Be sure to like, subscribe, because I put out new videos just like this one every single Friday.